You know that feeling, right? Drowning in a sea of digital tasks, feeling completely overwhelmed, and just knowing there has to be a better way to handle it all. Well, you're definitely not alone. Today, we are going to break down a really powerful framework that's not just about surviving modern work, but actually thriving in it.
So, to solve this, we've got to understand what the real problem is. And here's the thing, if you're feeling exhausted all the time, it's probably not your fault. It's the nature of the work we do now. A simple to-do list, it just doesn't cut it anymore.
Yeah, this image probably feels a little too familiar. When you're staring at a screen all day, everything, research, emails, meetings, even your creative work, it all just blends together into this one digital blur. It's incredibly hard for our brains to tell the difference, and that leads to this very unique, very modern kind of burnout.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question. If the old tools are broken, what do? We're not just looking for a new app or a new planner. We need a totally new way of thinking, a new mindset to handle this reality. So how do we find a way out of the flood?
To build a new system, we have to start from the ground up. We need to look at the foundational ideas, the first principles of productivity from some of the smartest people who've studied this stuff.
So on one side, you've got Stephen Covey's famous Big Rocks idea. It basically teaches us to tackle our most important stuff first, because all the little things, the sand, they'll always find a way to fit in around the edges. Then, on the other side, you've got the work of Daniel Kahneman, who showed us that our brain has two very different ways of thinking, a fast, automatic System 1 and a slow, deliberate System 2.
And the final piece of this foundation comes from Cal Newport. He makes this absolutely critical distinction between two types of work. There's deep work, the stuff that needs your full, uninterrupted focus, and then there's shallow work. All the logistical things we can kind of do while we're distracted.
Okay, so this leads us to the most important question. How do we take all these brilliant theories and actually turn them into something practical, something we can use every single day to organize our work and really our lives?
Well, first, we have to get comfortable with a concept called meta work. This is all the crucial prep you do about your work. Think of it like a musician tuning their guitar before a show, or an athlete warming up before a game. It's the work that makes the real work possible.
Now, this is where it all comes together in a really cool way. We can combine all these ideas. If you take those work types, deep versus shallow, System 1 versus System 2, and you map them against how much energy and attention you have at any given moment, you get this incredibly powerful 2x2 grid. Using this framework, every single task on your plate can be sorted into one of 4 modes. Don't think of it as just a theory. It's a diagnostic tool. It helps you match the right kind of task to your current mental state, and that right there is the secret to being wildly more effective.
All right, first up is preparing. This is for when your energy and your attention are low. You know that classic post-lunch slump? That's perfect for this. Instead of trying to force yourself to do something hard, you use this time for that valuable meta work, organizing files, skimming notes, drafting templates. You're not doing the final thing, but you're paving the road so your future, more energized self can just cruise.
Next is planning mode. This is for when you can focus, but you don't quite have that peak creative energy. So high attention, but lower energy. This is where you think strategically, outlining a project, spotting roadblocks, and most importantly, actually scheduling your deep work time into your calendar. And here's a great pro tip. Try to only book about 60% of your week. That leaves you critical breathing room for all the things that will inevitably pop up. And then we have performing. This is your peak zone. This is for your most challenging, most important, highest value tasks. You have to protect this time like a fortress. Schedule uninterrupted blocks of time, turn off all the distractions, and really aim to get into that amazing state of flow where you're just completely lost in the work.
Finally, there's reacting mode. This is for clearing out all those routine tasks that take energy but don't need your deep, focused brain power. The name of the game here is efficiency. You batch similar tasks together, like answering all your emails at once. Use templates and checklists so you can move fast, almost on autopilot. Hey, you might even achieve the legendary zero inbox.
But here's the thing, you can't live in that peak performance mode all the time. It's not sustainable. To build a life that's actually balanced, we have to look beyond the work itself.
And this is where the framework gets a major upgrade. We have to expand it to include 2 absolutely crucial non-work modes, relaxing and recharging. Why? Because how we recover is just as important as how we work.
Okay, so recharging is what we call active recovery. It's not about just sitting there doing nothing. It's when you deliberately step away from a problem, go for a walk, take a shower, maybe even a quick nap, and you let your subconscious mind chew on it.
You know the stories about Einstein or Edison? This is when those huge eureka moments happen. Relaxing, on the other hand, is passive recovery. This is all about intentionally disengaging to stop yourself from getting decision fatigue. Our willpower is a limited resource, so it's really smart to plan your downtime ahead of time. That way you avoid falling into that trap of just endlessly scrolling on your phone. You can build good habits using triggers, like leaving your running shoes by the door. It just makes resting the right way automatic.
So you can see how all these different modes create a complete cycle. But right there, at the very center of this whole system, is maybe the most advanced and powerful idea of all: the conscious, strategic decision to not do something. The art of not doing. This quote from the Zen of Python just nails it. Real productivity, true effectiveness, isn't about getting everything done. It's about learning to question the things that come your way, to delegate, and sometimes to just straight up decide that a task is not worth doing at all.
And this brings us right back to where we started, with that Spanish phrase, la vida es corta, which of course means life is short. Now, at first glance, that might sound like a call to just frantically cram as much as possible into our time here.
But see, that's only half the saying. The full expression is la vida es corta pero ancha. Life is short, but it is wide. The goal isn't just to manage one single linear timeline. It's about seeing that you can have multiple important lanes in your life running at the same time: work, family, health, learning, and making conscious choices about which lane needs your attention right now. I know this might look a little complex, but it's actually a super practical map for putting this all into action. Let's just trace one path real quick. Okay, a new task lands on your desk. First question, do I have to be the one to do this? If the answer is no, maybe you delegate it. Gone. If the answer is yes, the next question is, does it need to be done right now? If not, it goes into your planning system for later. See, by following this decision tree, you can consciously choose whether to act now, delegate, plan, or maybe even ignore a task, all based on your energy and your focus. So we'll end on this. This whole system, it's not really about just getting more things checked off a list. It's about a whole new way of thinking. And the real question, the one that matters, is now that you have this new map, what will you build with it? What will you create? How will you choose to live your wider, more fulfilling life?